Well, 48 hours have now come and gone since those bombs went off in Boston.
And for the runners who were there, the enormity of what happened is starting to settle in. Our Chris Conti is just back from Boston with some perspective on all of this. Chris.
Yeah, and Vicki, I think for everyone who was there, the whole enormity of all this is really starting to settle in. Boston is in a lot of ways like Nashville. It's a big city, but it still feels kind of small. And the Boston Marathon is a large part of why that is. As journalists, we are taught to be objective. Push your feelings aside, cover the story.
Help up from the medical tent. Get as many people up here as you can.
But when you're standing a few hundred feet away from this, your emotions are human. Confusion, frustration, anger, fear. Are my friends okay? Is my family okay? What in the world just happened?
You got it!
Spectators are the people we, as runners, rely upon, depend upon to help us finish races like the Boston Marathon. That someone would attack them is simply unfair.
I can't believe this has happened. She was such a hard worker at everything she did. This doesn't make any sense.
It's not fair that someone would take Patty Campbell's 29-year-old daughter away from her, and it is certainly not fair that an 8-year-old boy is among the dead. But now what?
Everyone has a different way of responding to it.
As a psychologist at Vanderbilt Hospital and marathon runner himself, Harsh Trivedi offers some insight.
Even though logically we know that we're sitting in Nashville and this happened in Boston, sometimes it's actually not the logical part of us that takes hold, and we can actually still be pretty deeply affected.
Then there's the what if so many runners are feeling. What if I'd run 10 minutes slower? What if those spectators were my family, my friends?
You can't live life thinking about every what if, because that's actually what makes you paralyzed.
His advice, talk about it. Even if you weren't there, even if you just saw the pictures or the video, talk about it.
Talking is a wonderful release, and for a lot of people even just crying and getting a hug is a great release as well.
Because at the end of the day, no matter what your occupation, we are all human.
We can't let that event prevent us from living our lives and doing the things that we need to do, because in the end that's actually the bigger loss.
Dr. Trivedi stressed how important it is to express any emotion folks might be feeling about this, because if you don't let those things out, he told us, they can turn into things like anxiety or panic attacks. Talking, once again, Vicki, is really the most important part of all this.
We're glad you're back and safe and sound.
Nice to be back.
Thanks, Chris.